Namaskar, good evening, hello, and welcome to GLIBTALK 3.7. सबका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है, and today is Happy Dashera, and I wish you a very happy Dashera to you and your family from our end and GLIBTALK as an initiative. I know it's a Sunday evening, 5 to 6, and today being a festive day, there are a lot of people are busy probably in their daily chores on a Sunday, especially with their friends and family. Probably they're out pandal hopping, they're out with their friends and families. But that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fantastic to be there with friends and family, because during this COVID crisis where all were house arrest and all were staying at home and didn't know what to do, at least during the festivities, we should always go ahead and take a risk which is worth enough. Well, today we have a wonderful guest. He is right with us from Pune. What do I say? I don't want to get into his name first. I'm sure all of you know it beforehand, but I just want to give you a little brief introduction about him as a personality and about his professional journey. Personal side, we will unravel over a period of time. But just to give you an overview about the guest's background, he has over 22 years of experience in the industry. He is one of the 101 fabulous HR leaders in India. He has worked with multiple multinationals, and presently he is working with Sterling, where he is heading the entire human resource department and working as a senior vice president HR. It is an indeed pleasure for me to get him here today on a festive day where it is so nice and kind of him, where he said yes to be coming and spending this 1 hour with us on Glib Talk. Well, he has worked with, when I said he worked with multiple organizations, he worked with Taj Group of Hotels, Siemens, he worked with Capita, he worked with loads of other organizations, which I would not be disclosing myself, but he would talk about himself and he gives the introduction. He is a hotel management graduate. He has done his management courses from IIM Ahmedabad. He has done it from IIM Bangalore. He is from ISB. Education ke koi kami nahi hai. The other side of it is he is a poet by heart. He has loads of books, which you can see probably during in his background, where books are something very close to him. He's very close to nature. He is a fitness freak. I don't know how he manages those 10 hours of work out of 24 hours. Without wasting any further time about me giving his introduction, ladies and gentlemen, I proudly present Mr. Sanjay Chandel with us, who is live from Pune. Sanjay, welcome to GLIBTALK 3.7 and happy Dashera. Why don't you quickly unmute yourself and give a quick introduction about yourself to our audience and say probably a quick hi to all of us.
All right, happy Dashera to everyone. Good evening, and thank you very much for the lovely introduction, Samrat. Glad to be a part of your show today and share my views. As far as my introduction is concerned, you have covered most of it. My professional journey started long back, 97, 98. Did a lot of different things with different organizations. My two consecutive successive jobs were never same. So whatever I did, I never did it again. I did something very different in my next assignment. And here I am. I'm not in Pune. I'm based in Mumbai. I
Sorry, my bad.
currently work. That's all right. That's all right.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So I work for Sterling. Sterling is world's one of the largest background verification and identity screening company based out of New York. We have around 3,000 people in Thane, 5,000 people worldwide. India is our biggest center, and I look after human resources for Sterling. So that's a sort of introduction about me.
Great. And all of you probably know me. My name is Samrat Ghosh. I'm your host for the evening, and Glib Talk is my initiative, where it's an online free talk show for everybody. Anybody and everybody is absolutely welcome to join us every day from 5 to 6 in the evening. Today, we have our 18th guest. Sanjay is there with us right now. I spoke to him at least 2 weeks ago, Sanjay, right? And in the very first conversation, when you said yes, I think you just made my date that day very itself, because taking that time out, especially on a Sunday during the festivities, is apparently very tough. And there's a reason probably we see there are not loads of people have joined us. Normally we have 40, 45 people who are joining us every day, Sunday in the evening. But that's absolutely fine. This is Glib Talk. This is all about talking thoughtlessly. It's all about talking absolutely being easy. It is not a masterclass. It's not a webinar. There is no PowerPoint presentation. There is nothing major to be learning and during this crisis where the entire world is just running after it. This is about learning about somebody's journey, somebody's life, about their successes, about their failures, about how they have done or achieved whatever they have achieved in their little way. The tagline is an inner view of a great mind and a known face. And explicitly, when I say an inner view of a great mind and a known face does not have to be a face of a celebrity. We all are celebrities in our own way because our faces are known to our entourage, to our people, to our colleague, to our friends, to our family, everybody. So, getting to know a commoner about their story, about how they have done, what they have done, what were their success mantras, what were their overcome nature during a failure phase in life is what GLIBTALK as an initiative is all about. So the very first question, Sanjay, what was your thought process? What was your version or your perception when you said yes to GLIBTALK? You say probably words it will be really helpful and encouraging.
Right. To be honest, Samrat, I love talking to people. I love sharing my views. I love learning from people. And I think, once you have spent 15, 20 years in corporate life, the best way to learn and to know and widen your perspective is only through interacting with different people. And that process in itself is very enriching. I see so many of people here who we interact either on LinkedIn. I can see Rajiv as well, with whom I've had a long conversation on different topics. So there is so much that you learn, when you converse with people and different views, different ideas. And that's why I said, yeah, doesn't matter how many people are there or who's there, who's not there. Let's say yes.
Right, absolutely. So where are you from? थोड़ा आपके personal. Where are you from? And
everyone.
hi, Rajiv. I'll
Hey, Rajiv.
we will definitely. I'm sorry. As of now, we will all have to be on mute because the first 40.
Hey Samrat, hey Sanjay. Lovely to see you guys.
Yeah, the first 45 minutes is our conversation, and then we will open it up for the audience. If the audience has any question, please go ahead and ask your question directly to Sanjay. Rajiv has attended a few GLIB talks himself, and me and Rajiv have also had our interaction during our days. And Rajiv is a part of the GLIB Talk WhatsApp group as well. So this is what actually gives that particular motivation and inspiration for GLIB Talk as an initiative to be going and to get going. And we have our guests lined up till the end of November. Only the Diwali week where there's a little break because that's the actual festival in the country. And we really don't want to get into a conversation with somebody where the time is for our friends, family, and all for ourselves. Coming to your life, Sanjay, why don't you quickly let us know where you're from? आप कहाँ से हो, पैदाइशी कहाँ के हो? A little bit about your childhood, about your college, hotel management, then taking a different line, which we will come to it over a period of time during the course of the conversation. But a little bit about your journey during your childhood days. आप कहाँ से हो? कहाँ पे आपने पढ़ाई की है? Little bit about your family, etc. If you can.
Oh, sure. So I belong to Himachal Pradesh, a place called Bilaspur, around 90 kilometers from Shimla. In fact, I had my sort of early days. I was in Shimla. Then I did my education in military school. It was boarding in Himachal. And my family is a very simple family. Everyone in my family is either a teacher or a professor or a lecturer, all in that sort of profession. And that's what probably has that part of that has remained with me. You can see a lot of books, it's kind of inherited from my maternal grandfather, my father, mom, sister, everyone being in sort of education field. Books were their first love, and I just kind of carried that. I did my college in Guwahati, Assam, and after that through a campus I got placed with Taj Group of Hotels. I started my career with them way back in 97, 98. And then thereon, I was in Bangalore for 15 years. So when you say, where are you from? I'm from Himachal, but I spent most of my life outside of Himachal. There's very little that I have explored Himachal in that sense. So 15 years in Bangalore, worked with different companies, started with Taj Hotels, moved on, a couple of years with Siemens. Then I was with AXA, then moved on to Capita. Then I was in Pune for around 4 years, and now in Mumbai for around 4 years. So, it's just been, moving across different cities. And I love that part. I'm not a person who would want to be for 20 years, 30 years placed in one place. So now I'm in Mumbai, and let's see where is the next destination.
Okay, so you're absolutely open to all this, what do you call, relocations due to your work or due to your personal thing, whatever you say, right?
Absolutely. See, that you got one life. You
You
got one life. Let me be very practical. You spend first 20, 25 years just figuring out what you want to do in life.
right,
You're being directed by a lot of other people who give you instructions. ऐसा करो जिंदगी में ये important है, ये stream choose करो, ये, and then you get married, and then you try and settle down and put your life in order. And in this entire process, you just forget to live your life. I never wanted to get caught in that. I was absolutely aware from the very beginning that life is not just a unidimensional process, it's a multidimensional process. So you can't be just, even if you like, I mean, I love Bangalore, but I moved out of Bangalore because I knew that I have to explore a different city. And then another opportunity came. I said, all right, I'm very comfortable in Pune, but let me go to now at Mumbai. So I'm absolutely open, that's what you need to do.
correct, correct. But you said you were born and brought up in Himachal for some time, but then you moved to Guwahati. How did that transition happen?
Yeah, so I did my college IHM in Guwahati. You write those tests central. It's a joint entrance test, and through that I got Guwahati as a center. And a lot of people said, "Oh, why don't you just apply for a different center nearby, maybe Chandigarh or Delhi?" I said, "No, I'm really happy. I don't know whether I will ever get to see Guwahati in my life. So let me go to Guwahati, even if it's slightly remote in that sense, a place." So I had a fabulous time in Guwahati, Assam, Northeast. I traveled quite a bit during my college days. I should have spent more time studying, but I spent quite a bit of time other than studies as well. So that's how I landed in Guwahati.
Right, right. So academics, you've done your hotel management, right? So you had a vision in your head that मुझे hotels में जाने हैं, मैं जाना है. I technically want to get into hotel, and that's how Taj Hotels happened, right? तो आपके ऊपर ये प्रेशर किया गया था कि होटल मैनेजमेंट पढ़ो, या फिर आपकी खुद की चॉइस थी that you wanted to pursue hotel management as your education?
So I'll be very honest with you. In 80s, 90s, you had primarily two streams that everybody would choose. Either it's going to be medical for MBBS, or it's going to be engineering. To be honest, I was not really interested in both. I never saw myself as a good doctor or as an engineer. I want to do something which is to do with people, management, interaction with people, getting to know different kind of people. So that's what kind of forced me to exploring some of these offbeat fields at that point in time.
Right.
And hotel management was one of the certainly that sort of profession where of course you had to study, but you didn't have to study as hard as maybe engineering or medical. You could be street smart. You need to be more presentable, you need to be more outgoing, extroverted, and then half the game is won. And I said, yeah, I mean, I used to take part in drama, in poem recitation competition, debates, declamation. So I thought that I have that flair, and God hasn't made me to use all of this by kind of drowning myself into a lot of books and a lot of so-called serious professions. So that's why I said, okay, let me try and get into slightly offbeat, and I'm quite proud of my decision that I made at that point in time.
Yeah, I'm sure. जो भी होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है हमेशा, right? There's a saying, always saying that. आप जैसे आप दिखते हो normally, Sanjay, you look like शांत, like you're like typical that. But were you this शांत, और आप बचपन में शरारती वाले वो स्टूडेंट थे जो लास्ट बेंच में बैठते हैं, स्कूल बंक करना, कॉलेज बंक करना, कभी किया आपने ऐसा? Did you do that?
देखो होता क्या है जिंदगी में life comes full circle. So जो बहुत शांत होते हैं शुरू में eventually they turn out to be very naughty, and people who are extremely naughty in the beginning, they turn out to be slightly more calmer as life goes. So I was quite hyperactive until a few years back. I'm still is, but it's not that bad now. But I was quite mischievous. I put my parents under a lot of difficult situations. I put myself under a lot of difficult situations. I was a kind of rebel, want to do things which are offbeat. If somebody says, "Oh no, this is not what you should be following or doing," I'll say, "Why? Why not? Let me just try. Let me just experience it for myself. What happens if you do something like this?" So I did all of that, and good I did when I should have done that. Not kept it for a period in life when you shouldn't be doing all those things. So it was a discovery for me, and then I realized, there's a time when I need to be slightly more focused, more calmer, and Taj brought that in me. When I joined Taj, I joined as a management trainee, and of course, you had those big dreams that when you join a big organization like Taj, you want to be, those glamorous managers standing in the lobby and welcoming all globe trotters who coming from different parts of the country and meeting up with high profile lists. But then you realize, no, it's not that. You got to be doing a lot of things yourself, serving people, making sure they're comfortable. And that 4 or 5 years in Taj, it helped me realize that, there are different facets of life. One is so-called looking glamorous from outside, may not necessarily be glamorous. Another one is the reality, and you have to come to terms with reality. Every situation has two parts to it: what is seen and
Right.
what actually it is.
Correct.
Yeah. So then a lot of introspection, lot of thinking about life. It brought in some sense of calm in me. So yeah, I mean, I think I've gotten more calmer over a period of time.
Right. So hotels, and then shifting to the corporates, which is like definitely a service industry, and what you're doing is also part of service industry. So what made you shift from the hotels? Because that was your core education, your academia, and that is something that you probably loved. I mean, there was some sort of inclination because of which you have chosen your academics in that particular line, because you were offbeat and you didn't want to do that typical engineering and doctors. या आपको लगता था कि मुझे वो नहीं करना, because by this little course of conversation I could figure out that you're a disruptor in your thinking pattern, that you do not like the conventional way of doing things. There could be different tone, there could be different facets, there could be variations in doing things in our own way. So hotels may, I think I'm sure you spent a good amount of time in the hotels, right? uh, and then shifting out. So what was that transition that actually gotten into your head that nahi abhi bahut ho gaya, hotels ho gaya? I mean, is it because of the 18 hours of work out of 24 hours, so 19 hours of sleepless days and nights and shifts after shifts, or you had a different struck that got in your head?
It's a great question. So, Samrat, I I enjoyed working in hotels. I worked for Taj for around 5 years, and those 5 years probably are really really cherished moments for me. Why I shifted? I mean, there was no reason. I was doing quite well. I was getting promoted. I was getting exposure in different functions of the hotel. I in fact was the youngest training manager at the age of 23, looking after two big five-star properties in Bangalore as a training manager. So I didn't really have a reason to quit. But what triggered me to start looking for option was that was the time, early 2000 was a time when a lot of call centers, BPO, back offices were getting set up in Bangalore, and most of the people who were managing those transitions or those setups were from either airlines or they were from hotels. So I saw, there was an exodus of sorts when all my colleagues, my seniors, they quit hotels and they joined, all different kind of call centers, BPOs, and all these new sort of companies which were coming in, and they would come and say, "Hey, Sanjay, you know what? There is Saturday, Sunday off, and it's 9 days, 9 hours shift." I said, "Wow, is it? That's not how hotels work. Hotels you have to work for 14 hours and you don't have a fixed off, because if volume is high, there's more guests and there's a festive season, you obviously will have to be in hotels because people are coming to the hotels to enjoy." And I said, "Yeah, I think I would probably want to explore now this different profession where there's something called as work-life balance, and that's what prompted me to make that shift." But believe me, I was really happy putting in 13-14 hours. I was very happy with how my career was shaping up in Taj. But then again, as I said, I never did two to similar jobs in my life. So it was a completely different role. It was a different shift, but I was again that वो जो कीड़ा था अंदर की, I want to explore something else. हो गया 4 साल 5 साल होटल कर लिया, अभी मुझे पता है it's going to be the same format. My responsibilities will shift. I probably will manage bigger teams, bigger properties, but fundamentally I understood what happens here. Let me do something very different now.
Every organization functions in something or the other way, be it any industry, right? There's always a management, there's always a HR, there's always an admin, there's always a guest relation, there's always a sales, pre-sales. So talking about your journey of 22 years that you have spent so far in different industries, different organizations, you have mastered quite a bit of lot skills, right? If I was reading, when I was reading your LinkedIn profile and when we had a little conversation before getting into it, I've seen that you've done business process reengineering, you have done your Six Sigma, you've done your strategic part in the roles as far as your roles were concerned. You have Six Sigma is another big thing that you have done, right? In terms of, so these things were restricting you, so you were, I think, cognizant enough to take the decision, being very careful, because that was something new that you were exploring. And when you explore something really new, you have that subconscious fear in your head, right? That works. That I was in a comfort zone. I know I will learn a lot of things, a lot of new skills. It's a different gamut altogether. Work-life balance, jo bhi hota hai. That was the time, I think there was a wave that happened way back in 2000 where a lot of hoteliers or people from the aviation industry, they actually quit their existing jobs where they were spending good 5, 10, 8 years, and they've gotten into this industry where they are big leaders today in that industry, as we speak right now. And you are a live example to that, right? So these skills you had to adopt because you knew that you had to sustain, or is it the learning that you were very hungry about? Because what you told me that you were very close to people, you were a training manager yourself. So when you were training and developing people and their personality, their skills and everything, you have that inclination towards learning. So वो आपने प्रेशर में आके आपने किया है, या फिर आपके ऊपर ये एक सेल्फ मतलब खुद से बनाया हुआ एक प्रेशर था, एक दबाव था कि अगर मुझे सस्टेन करना है, अगर मुझे करियर में एलिवेट चाहिए, then I would have to master this particular skills. What was that thing that worked in your mind?
See, as a person, I like taking risks. I like doing different things. I can't see myself just getting stuck in one role or in one format for a long time. Yeah, so that is one. I mean, that is my basic fundamental disposition as a person. Other thing was, I was always curious to know, curious to learn what happens in different industry, what happens in different roles. What if I move from one role to another? What are things that I need to learn? And that constantly, put me into a situation where I was not really looking at failure. I was looking at learning, and I knew it might take 1 year, it might take 2 years, it might take 3 years, but I would learn. Why would I not learn? What is so difficult or so special about this particular role? So that kind of drive a lot of my changes, a lot of my decisions. And because see, there is so much in life that you can do, isn't it? We get sometimes stuck in a format, and I know there are sometimes practical reasons that you can't take risk or you shouldn't. But I never looked at life from that perspective. For me, it was a new opportunity. It was about starting afresh. अगर आप खो भी दोगे सब कुछ, तो क्या? What is worse that could happen to you? You still got to have confidence in yourself to start from a scratch.
Right.
See, the fancy titles, great organization that you may be a part of, any organization on a given occasion, they're not going to be there forever. What is going to be forever is your confidence, your ability to resurrect yourself when things really go bad. And I have this confidence in me, and I did take a lot of such decisions, in my life, and I was ready to start from a scratch at any decision that I have taken. It's not that I don't get jittery about it, but I get more jittery about not doing it.
Are you really serious about it? I mean, you're saying that you were ready to start from the scratch, irrespective of you fail or at the worst, what can happen? I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, right? I mean,
absolutely. See, I'll tell you, every month I spend some time with myself when I look back, what what is worst that could happen to me? If I have to start, am I comfortable to start completely as a non-entity and make my way through and get somewhere? And then that feeling, that question is very uncomfortable. That question is very uncomfortable because sometimes you get really cozy with your lifestyle, your titles, the organization that you work in, but you need to constantly ask yourself that what if things change? Am I ready to make that sort of start? And believe me, I reflect back on that question and I say, all right, कल को होगा तो ये 4 skills 5 skills है मेरे में, I can always, may not start here, but I could still do worthwhile job somewhere.
Okay, I mean, I think
what that does, it makes you fearless. It helps you do right things in your role. It helps you take right decisions. It helps you put things in perspective. It also helps you stay grounded. Many times your success is not necessarily a result of your own hard work, as sometimes you might claim, or your intelligence. It's a combination of so many things coming together and that thing happening for you. You should never forget about it. I mean, many times we sometimes start believing कि भाई मैंने जो किया है, and Rajiv knows about this. I was successful, so I'll be successful. I choose to be successful, and whatever I will do, I'll be successful. Not necessarily. A lot of things are beyond your control. You can only do your bit, but a lot of other things happen together to make you successful. Yeah. So I'm quite aware of that aspect.
And you have a plan B or a plan C ready accordingly?
No, my plan A, plan B, and plan C is me, myself, my skills, my confidence in my abilities.
So whatever risks that you have taken, do they put you into failures? And that failure has to be, I mean, turned out to be a disaster at times. Do you have such lessons that you have learned ever?
See, I wouldn't, I hate word failure because I don't look at it that way. What is failure and what is success? Nobody knows. People define it in their narrow sense, in the time horizon of 2 years, 5 years, or in the backdrop of designation or the money that you make. These are the criteria for somebody to say successful or not successful. Somebody's definition of success could be very different. It could be happiness. It could be, are you making difference in someone's life? Are you really contributing positively, or are you spending good time, comfortable time with your family? So there could be different definitions. But failure, I really don't call. But yeah, I did get my feedback on certain decisions that I had taken, and I learned from them. Many times things don't go as you have wished or as you have planned. So you got to really make those changes, and you have to sit back and learn what happened, what went wrong. And it has happened with me on quite a few occasions.
Are you saying this with so much of conviction just because you have seen a great elevation, a great succession in your career? And you have to admit this, that you have had a successful career so far, touch wood, right? Is it easier said than done because you are already in that particular league? You're already in that particular stature where you know that I'm in a successful position, right? Is it as easy to say that just because you are already there? Or is it equally difficult if you were not there in this particular position, or if you have had not that kind of a succession in your career graph so far? What would have been your take? Was the conviction would have been the same, or the conviction would have changed with some sort of different thoughts or angles attached? I hope you're not getting me wrong. I'm just being very open and candidly asking this question.
No, absolutely. I think it's a good question, good probing question. See, I'm not so. For somebody to look at my career journey from outside, they might say that it's a successful career journey because looks like, I did all right things and I achieved success. But I only know, the reality. I only know the reality, that I could have done probably far better in certain ways, or the price that I had to pay, or learning, or the pain that I had to go through. But no regrets, no regrets. Whether my conviction would have been any different, as I told you, every career transition that I made, there was a lot at stake. I changed industries, I changed roles. I worked in insurance industry for 15 years. I did my certification from Chartered Insurance Institute, and I was looking to pursue my career in insurance. But then I changed it completely to a very different domain. Right. Yeah, so I started from a scratch. So my conviction comes from the fact that what do you really value in life? Do you value in life challenges? Do you want to always challenge yourself and explore how far it can go. And I don't know, 5 years down the line, I don't know whether these different moves that I have made are going to help me or will work against me. I don't know, but I don't look that far. My vision is always one thing at a time. If you do right things in so-called short term, long term gets taken care of by itself. Who is saying long term? Long term, everyone is dead. So you plan in a very reasonable sort of way, and that's what I do. I mean, you can't be, and you can't even plan things to the T, because there are so many disruptive forces around you which can change your plans.
Correct. I mean,
the only best plan that you could have is to just believe in yourself that whatever I'm doing is the right thing.
So you're saying, I'm not trying to contradict or I'm not trying to demean you in any manner. Please don't get me wrong. My sincere apology beforehand. However, I'm just trying to understand you a little better and your thought process, because I completely resonate with it. I completely get it, what you're saying, that it may look little flowery, it may look little rosy, but lot out there, they probably do not know what price one had to pay. Right? So वो होते हैं ना कि all that glitters are not gold, right? I mean, that's being very honest. So you're saying that the position that you're into, the comfort level that you're into, or the situation and the stature that you have already, God forbid if everything goes away, right? Which has happened for a lot during this COVID crisis. You think that you can still be able to start from the scratch, where you may have to compromise on a lot of things, be it on your comfort, be it on your financials, be it on everything for that matter. You said that you are ready, or you still, and you're saying that there's no plan B or a plan C. With your conviction, with your thought process in your mind, you said you're ready. You would be able to start again from the scratch to build that what you have built so far and regain that in your life. I think you have muted yourself. Let me unmute you, Sanjay. Yeah. Can you, I have asked you to unmute. Can you just click on unmute? Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. So, I am an eternally positive person.
Right.
I believe that, whenever you're faced with a challenge, there are always possibilities that you need to explore. If that happens with me or anyone, there are always ways for you to explore possibilities. And I'm saying that with full conviction, I'm ready to explore those possibilities. And maybe my diverse experience helps me with so much conviction that अच्छा ये काम नहीं तो कुछ ये भी तो कर सकते हैं, ये नहीं होगा तो ये कर लेंगे. Yeah, so maybe that gives me that much more confidence and much more belief that things will work out. If things, God forbid, has to go really bad, see, what are you looking for in market? People are looking who could add value, people who could bring in certain insights into different kind of roles. And why would you not? Somebody who has diverse experience with different industries, different roles, why will he or she not? Yeah. So my conviction comes from there. My conviction is not a philosophical or a spiritual or a religious belief. It's a very practical belief.
So have you ever got an entrepreneurial thought process in your head? Because knowing about you little in the last 30-35 minutes, you believe in change, right? You are a change leader yourself because of your roles and your responsibility that you are doing, and you have had the journey so far. Did you ever think that you should also explore being an entrepreneur? Because or is it something that I find in my diversified experience in different organizations, and I'm learning, because you've spent over 2 decades, right, in the employment thing. So did you ever get a thought that, let me try something on my own, or do you have something in your mind and you don't want to disclose, it's fine, but you might want to just trying to untap your mind and trying to understand you as a better human.
I I'll be very honest with you. I have a couple of ideas. I'm just waiting for the right time to come where I could take a plunge into it and explore. It won't be for next couple of years, but I definitely have something in my mind, and I believe I really need to kind of work on the concept. I need to start with end in mind. First be absolutely sure myself that what I'm thinking, does it make really sense or not? But I have a couple of ideas that I definitely would want to explore in times to come.
Oh, I've become a psychologist. I have read your mind to an extent, knowing you as a person. That इनके दिमाग में वो खुराफाती थोड़ा बहुत चलेगा ही चलेगा, right? Because that's what you are as a person. तो ये poetry वाली side कहाँ से आ गई? मतलब अब बहुत हो गया अभी, career ups and downs, diversification, changes. GLIBTALK is not always about talking professional journey and everything. It is also about knowing a personal side of the person who comes as a guest. Poetry में आपको बचपन से ही शौक था. When I spoke to you last and you told me that, and I could see there are a lot of books, and as you said that you have a family influence also, because all your your parents, your family, they're into professors or educationists or something of that sort. तो वो वहां से तो आया है definitely, that you have inherited. तो वो National School of Drama, television, films, या फिर writers are also equally very successful. तो वो कहाँ से आया जो आपने अभी तक शायद आपके लिंक्डइन में सबसे ज्यादा वही दिखता है आपके पोस्ट में, आपके जो वो कविताएं हैं, जो पंक्तियां हैं, जो शेरो शायरी आप करते हैं, which has got lots of likes and everything. उसके बारे में थोड़ा हमें बताइए कि how did that happen and how are you living that so vivid every day despite of your tough working schedule and everything.
See, poetry influence came from my maternal grandfather, my Nana ji. He did his graduation from Lahore University in 1930s, and he was a politician as well. He has been minister in one of the states. I'm talking about 80s. So I was very young at that point in time, 5, 6, 7 years old, and I used to be part of his so-called महफिल्स. So जब वो बैठते थे अपने दोस्तों के साथ, तो when they're conversing, suddenly they will break out in these shairis, and those very nice words will start flowing in sometime in Urdu, Hindi. Then I used to be mesmerized, and I used to be so taken aback by that soothing effect of those words.
Right.
And I said, यार मुझे भी ऐसा बोलना है. ये क्या बोला इन्होंने, समझ नहीं आया लेकिन बहुत अच्छा लगा.
Right.
So I was very young at that point in time, and then that had influence on me. And then when I went to school, I started participating, as I told you, debates, declamations, poem recitation competition, and things like that. And I realized that let me explore it a little more. Then I joined drama classes. I used to participate in all one-act plays and a lot of stuff that used to happen in school and college. And of course, at one point in time, I thought I'll probably try and join National School of Drama and probably pursue my career there. But my parents were completely against it, and I really had to gather a lot of courage to actually do that. I said, all right, इसको हम pastime parallelly करते रहेंगे. तो वहां से वो शायरी का जो शौक था वहां से हुआ. और उसके बाद जब आप कॉलेज में जाते हो ना, कॉलेज में if you have to become famous, there were 2 or 3 things that you had to do. One was you have to be good with palmistry, so that कहीं भी बैठ के आप लोगों के हाथ देखना शुरू कर दो. तो एक वो था. दूसरा था कि अगर आप में कहते हैं कि गिफ्ट ऑफ ग्लैब है थोड़ा सा, अगर आप अच्छी शायरी करते हो तो then you get into the limelight.
Right.
And then I started writing. I used to write my own poems and share it with my friends, and that then you will be a center of attraction. कभी भी कुछ छोटा सा कुछ महफिल जमेगी, कोई तो बोलेगा हाँ यार 4 शेर सुना दो, कोई आप कुछ लिखा है क्या. Now whether people understood or not, but good thing is when share ends, everybody will say wah wah wah. So you got your due. So that's how it happened. And then I realized something that happened at a very superficial level when I started with my series on LinkedIn. अर्ज किया है, I found कि भाई अगर आप किसी एक मैनेजमेंट ज्ञान गुरु की एक इतनी बड़ी किताब पढ़ते हैं, वो तो सभी कवियों ने आज से 100 साल 200 साल पहले लिखा हुआ है. It's just that they haven't done a research, they haven't gone to Harvard or big schools. गालिब के अगर आप शेरों को सुनोगे, उसमें इतनी विजडम है कि आपको किसी और चीज की जरूरत नहीं है. लेकिन फिर वहां से मैंने I started drawing parallel between poetry, life, management, sort of life, and I find it quite fascinating. And yeah.
तो मतलब कॉलेज में आपने पामिस्ट्री से शुरू किया था या गिटार से, या फिर शुरुआत से ही आप एकदम अर्श किया है से एकदम डूब गए थे?
And actually, I tried palmistry as well, and believe me, I was not bad in palmistry, but I realized that after a while, palmistry is it is if you have to get into a really exact sort of science of it, it requires a lot of efforts. वो नक्षत्र वो बहुत सारी चीजों में आपको जाना पड़ता है, and there was a lot of mathematics also involved. तो मैंने कहा यार ये थोड़ा मुश्किल है. Shairi probably is a better alternative, so I stuck on with shairi.
It's the easier way of becoming a ladies' man there in the college.
Exactly.
तो भाभी जी से मुलाकात कहाँ हुई? Did you meet her in college or was it an arranged marriage?
It was absolutely purely arranged marriage. We met only once before our marriage, and there was a gap of around 8-9 months, and the next time we met was in Mandap. जब बारात गई उनके घर में तब मिले वहाँ.
Are you serious? I mean,
absolutely.
Like you, I mean, could take such a short and simple road towards marriage of meeting her once and meeting her next in the mandap.
देखो,
सूट नहीं करता.
देखो, you sometime for you to take shortest and best route, you need to know all other different routes.
वाह वाह. गौर से देखिए.
Sometime to make life simple, you need to be aware of all difficult things. Then only you can make that decision which looks very simple from the outside. Right. So yeah, I mean, I'll leave it at that.
No, don't worry. We will not try to invade any further, but that's fine. But it's so nice of you that you have actually said that, and that's a great lesson that you have. बहुत कम शब्दों में आपने वो बयान कर दिया आपने कि sometimes to take that shortest and the easy route, you need to know the multiple other difficult routes as well. तो जो अर्ज किया है, ये कितना पुराना है? The series, how old is that? But because we recently got connected in LinkedIn, I have seen your previous posts. So since when it has come to your mind and your head that मुझे social media में इसको करना है, because how did that start, and what is your plan with Arz Kiya Hai as a series in the coming days?
So I think I'll have to give credit of Arz Kiya Hai to quite a few of my colleagues as well. First time when I was thinking about it, I didn't have that much of conviction कि ये click होगा, whether people will like it or not, and they shouldn't just think कि यार ये क्या उठा के 4 लाइनें किसी की शायरी सुना के, मतलब शायरी तो कैसी चीज है, वो आप YouTube में जाओ तो आपको millions के हिसाब से हर आदमी ने कुछ ना कुछ कहा हुआ है. So I did that, and there were 2-3 people who said कि नहीं, I think इस approach में दम है, आप इसको continue कीजिए. और उसमें डॉक्टर अंकिता भी एक one of my colleagues. I see Ankita, I don't know whether it is Dr. Ankita or someone else. So she also came across this, and she said, Sanjay, I think you should pursue, you should continue it. And then I have another friend of mine, Akhilesh, he's in US. इसने कहा कि यार तुम बहुत पहले से करते थे, अभी थोड़ा सा इसको एक give it a format and link it, make it a little more relevant and contextual, and do it. And that's how it started.
तो आपने खुद कितने लिखे हैं? I mean, what exactly? And Ankita is saying that because you are good at it. And yes, I completely echo her thought, because I have seen myself and I was really mesmerized seeing those Arz Kiya Hai videos. So did you write yourself, or I mean, why? Can you tell us few of your own shairis or kavitaएं जो आपने लिखा है? Because we are at 5:44 right now. We have another 15 minutes, and very soon probably we will open it up for the audience. If you have any questions, guys, please feel free to raise your hand. Would love to unmute you and you can ask your question to Sanjay directly. But in the meantime, Sanjay, why don't you share some of your own creations, or even of your favorite poets and their creations?
So on Arz Kiya Hai, I haven't put anything that I have written, because I'm still gathering confidence whether it's really worthy of being there, because there are so many great shayars who have said so many things. So I didn't want to kind of take that risk. But मैं लिखता हूँ खुद अपना दिल बहलाने के लिए. चंद दोस्त जब मिल जाते हैं तो उनके साथ शेयर कर लेता हूँ. So I'll be more than happy to share a few here as well. But मैंने अर्ज किया में मैंने अपना लिखा हुआ अभी तक वहाँ कुछ नहीं डाला है.
अच्छा, तो जो आपने ऑलरेडी कर चुके हो, आपके फेवरेट कुछ अगर है तो वो प्लीज एक बार सुना दीजिए ऑडियंस के लिए, क्योंकि यहाँ पे राजीव इज ऑल्सो आस्किंग दैट यू नो ही इज क्वाइट कीन टू योर अर्ज किया है, अंकिता इज ऑल्सो एग्जैक्टली अ फैन ऑफ योर अर्ज किया है। तो यू तो आपको जाने नहीं देंगे ऐसे बिना बताए बिना बोले।
नहीं नहीं नहीं, डेफिनेटली। किस तरह का सुनना चाहेंगे?
थोड़ा प्यार हो गया, मोहब्बत हो गया,
अच्छा, प्यार मोहब्बत वाला।
मोहब्बत प्यार हो गया, दुख हो गया, कुछ भी, मतलब व्हाटएवर व्हाटएवर।
अह, चलो, अब आपने मतलब रोमांटिक वाला पूछा है तो मैं रोमांटिक सुनाता हूँ आपको।
बिल्कुल।
And this was long time back. It was around 10 years, 11 years, probably even older than that. Okay, so अर्ज किया है,
अच्छा,
तेरी आंखों के नूर से दिलों के चिराग जलते हैं।
वाह।
तेरी आंखों के नूर से दिलों के चिराग जलते हैं, ये पलकें उठ गई तो वीराने भी रोशन हो गए, और झुकती पलकों में न जाने कितने मैखाने मचलते हैं।
वाह।
देख कर इन आंखों को जाने कितने दीवाने हुए, देख कर इन आंखों को जाने कितने दीवाने हुए, भूल कर रास्ता सभी खुद से बेगाने हुए, रुकी नजर जहां भी ना जाने क्या क्या अफसाने हुए, पी के जाम तेरी आंखों का हम भी मस्ताने हुए।
अरे
छिपी तेरी आंखों में एक कहानी है, छिपी तेरी आंखों में एक कहानी है, कैद तेरी पलकों में मेरी जवानी है,
अरे
दिल धड़कना तो जरूरी है बस सांस चलने के लिए, सच तो ये है कि मिली तेरी आंखों से मेरी सांसों को रवानी है।
क्या बात, क्या बात है, वाओ।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू।
ब्रिलियंट, ब्रिलियंट। तो व्हाई, आई मीन व्हाई डोंट यू स्टार्ट राइटिंग संजय? आई मीन इतनी इतनी अच्छी कविताएं आप पढ़ते हो, या फिर शेरो शायरी हो गई है, एंड यू हैव दैट ग्रेट confidence there on video when you actually publish them on LinkedIn. I'm sure you have written something which is in the process of coming up with a big hit or whatever it is, but you're not sharing it.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe at some point in time I will definitely. When my compilation will grow in at least sizable numbers, maybe that time I'll think of.
और एक हो जाता है, एक से भले दो, उसके बाद हम आपको और नहीं बोलेंगे।
आप किस
That is your choice or your favorite, or whenever you are in solitude or you're in solitary, or you really want to, you're in front of people and want to grab their attention, as you rightly mentioned, that become the center of stage. उसी पेरिफेरी में अगर आपको सुना देंगे तो
ये थोड़ा सा फिलोसॉफिकल है, एक कविता, वो मैं आपको सुना देता हूँ। थोड़ा सा रोमांटिक, थोड़ा सा फिलोसॉफिकल, थोड़ा सा सैड। जब ये हस्ती तेरे रहमो करम से है, जब ये हस्ती तेरे रहमो करम से है, तो कट रही ये जिंदगी किस भरम से है।
अरे वाह।
हर आस दम तोड़ देती है सीने में, फिर तू ही बता क्या रखा है ऐसे जीने में।
क्या बात।
तोड़ के बंधन तू तो रिहा हो गया, वफा तोड़ती है दम हर पल मेरे सीने में। So this is the first part of it, which is slightly what do you call it, sad, and then there is when person actually finds the answer. So उसी का ये वो है, continuation है कि बदलते वक्त ने जीना सिखाया है सबको, बदलते वक्त ने जीना सिखाया है सबको, जो ना बदले वो दीवाने ना जाने किस भरम से हैं। जो हंसी है जरूरी नहीं हम राज भी हो, जो हंसी है जरूरी नहीं हम राज भी हो, टूटे कितने ही दिल जमाने में इस भरम से हैं।
अरे
खुद में ढूंढोगे तो खुदा भी मिल जाएगा, खुद में ढूंढोगे तो खुदा भी मिल जाएगा, मारे मारे फिरते ये फकीर ना जाने किस भरम से हैं।
अरे
हमदम बेवफा हो गया तो गम न कर, सो दिस इज द लास्ट लाइन। हमदम बेवफा हो गया तो गम न कर, वो भी जमाने में किसी और की वफा के भरम से है।
क्या क्या बात है, क्या बात है।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू।
This is what the other side of Sanjay, who's what is probably not well exposed. That's what exactly the Glib Talk initiative is all about. Not having any gun, not having any lecture sessions. It's just thoughtlessly you're going to talk. And I am thankful that you have gone ahead and shared this. Tahe dil se shukriya hai, Sanjay. I think you've given that time.
Thank you, Samrat. Likewise.
I really wish we had more time to let you keep recite these poems one after the other, free में एकदम, ताकि हमारी शाम तो बहुत अच्छी बन जाए. काश हमें भी ये this art I would have also equally had, but not everyone is gifted at the same manner. Well, with this, we have come to our very last segment. It's 5:50. We have opened up for our audience. I think I have Sanjay. Sorry, not Sanjay. I'm sorry. हाँ, इनका नाम भी संजय ही है. ये हमारे गेस्ट है. संजय जी, आप अपने आप को अनम्यूट आप कर चुके हो. Please ask your question to Sanjay. One Sanjay asking another Sanjay.
हाँ, मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूँ कि देखिए, जो आपने पामिस्ट्री के बारे में कहा, हाथ की लकीरों के बारे में कहा, तो क्या उनका भविष्य नहीं होता जो उनके हाथ नहीं होते? मैं अपनी बात 2 लाइनें कह के खत्म कर रहा हूँ. रेखाओं का खेल है मोहब्बत, रेखाओं से मात खा रही हो. तो मैं थोड़ा पामिस्ट्री के बारे में कुछ जानना चाहता हूँ आपसे. ओवर टू यू. थैंक्स.
वाह.
संजय जी, आपका प्रश्न बहुत ही गहरा है, लेकिन मेरा जो जवाब है वो बहुत ही एक प्रैक्टिकल सा है. मैंने पामिस्ट्री सीखने की कोशिश की थी उस समय, तो मैं धीरे धीरे उसमें घुसने की कोशिश कर रहा था, लेकिन मैंने रियलाइज किया कि ये इतना आसान नहीं है. it requires a lot of hard work, and I didn't want to fool around people, कि 4 रेखाएं देख के बोल दो कि भाई तुम्हारा ये अच्छा है, तुम्हारा चंद्रमा अच्छा है, तुम्हारा बृहस्पति अच्छा है. I realized there's a lot of responsibility probably when you say something, and when I was not confident that I'll be able to do justice, मैंने वो सब कुछ छोड़ दी. लेकिन आपने जो शेयर सुनाया बहुत अच्छा है. गालिब का भी इसके ऊपर एक शेयर है, मुझे ढंग से याद नहीं है, बट वो इस तरह से कुछ जाता है कि हाथों की लकीरों को don't blame what happens in your life on हाथों की लकीरों को. जिनके मुकद्दर उनका भी होता है जिनके हाथ नहीं होते. तो दूसरी लाइन मुझे याद है, फर्स्ट मुझे याद नहीं है ना, लेकिन वो गालिब का एक बहुत ही बेहतरीन शेर है.
Great. One Sanjay asked a question to another Sanjay, and that's how the question was answered. Sanjay, I'm sure that was a very nice and a very jovial question which you asked. Thank you for asking that particular question. Rajiv, you are next. You can just unmute yourself and ask your question to Sanjay directly.
Hi Sanjay, how are you?
Very well, sir. How are you?
It was lovely to listen to you once again. I'm so happy to see you. Thanks for making the evening so lovely on a Sunday. Thank you, and thanks Samrat for getting this. Sanjay, मेरे 2 छोटे सवाल हैं. One, I love the fact that you are somebody who has tried multiple things and risen in your career and reached where you are. And I love the fact when you said that कि आपका कोई plan B नहीं है, and I always remember that somebody said plan B is always plan A. There's nothing called a plan B. So you said it absolutely right. एक मेरा सवाल है कि does it kind of say that somebody who has tried multiple things over life, by natural, by design, kind of becomes a far more confident person to pick up a lot of things in trying life, because the fear of failure is minimum in the person? I would like to take your input on that.
See, Rajiv, it's a very, very deep and very serious question, and I will answer it from empirical point of view. There is a research done by a gentleman by name David Epstein. He's written a book called Range, which has become quite a big hit now. He has done research on people who have been successful. What kind of people have been successful, and up till 15 years back, everyone thought that specialists will be the people who will rule the world. But because of world becoming VUCA and more fuzzy, a lot of interconnection between various different fields, this is for the first time that generalists are being preferred over specialists. Yeah, but the definition of generalist is not that you should just know a little bit about 6-7 different fields. Definition of generalist is that you should know reasonably well about 3 or 4 different fields. And because then you can draw more connections, you can draw more insights, you can interoperate between different domains, you can pick up things from one domain and apply it in another domain. So that is what has happened in the last 5-10 years, that the focus is more on towards generalists, but generalists with good, reasonably good domain expertise of 3 or 4 subjects. There is a beautiful study as well, which called as Superman or Fantastic Four. It's a paper written by some of the professors in US, which also talks about how you need to diversify your learning for you to be able to operate more effectively in the kind of world that we are in today.
Thank you. That absolutely answers. And Range is a lovely book.
Great, Rajiv.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for your question. You have one more question, I think. Why don't you ask?
हाँ, मेरा सेकंड क्वेश्चन ये था कि ये बताइए कि वो आंखें किसकी हैं?
क्या सर?
वो जो आंखें किसकी है ये बता दो हमको. Lovely one. I just love that.
Great. So thank you, Rajiv. Thank you, another Sanjay, for asking that particular question. If you have any other question, please feel free to ask your question. Would be more than happy to unmute you, or you can unmute yourself directly and ask your question to Sanjay. Well, till the time somebody else is going to ask the question, Ankita is saying good things, that you are so good and candid about it, Sanjay. So you already have fan followers. Glib talk को कभी कभार लोग गलीब talk भी कहते हैं, गालिब talk भी कहते हैं. And we were having a very fun conversation the other day when I was telling you about an initiative. GLIBTALK is an initiative where it's an online talk show. As I said, we have a wonderful Facebook and an Instagram page, and we have 2 wonderful WhatsApp groups. So if you're there and part of the particular group, please don't leave those groups. It is a sincere request. बोलने के बाद भी लोग छोड़ के चले जाते हैं. आपसे मैं बोलना ही बंद कर दूंगा. मतलब छोड़ ही दिया मैंने बोलना. Anyways, समझ में आता नहीं कुछ लोगों को. But that's a separate thing altogether. But Sanjay, आप please रहेगा उस group में. You are also there as one of the admins of the particular group. So please don't leave that group. We have wonderful guests coming up every Sunday from 5 to 6, barring the Diwali Wali week. We are booked till November end. We have a wonderful guest coming again from Mumbai next week. I would not reveal. You need to stay in the group to understand who is that person who's coming. It's a she, I can tell you that. Well, coming to the next question, Sanjay. What is your biggest fears in your life? आप सबसे किस चीज से सबसे ज्यादा डरते हो?
Fears you said biggest. Okay. नहीं देखो, इंसान को डर तो लगता ही है यार. डर लगता है बहुत सारी चीजें खोने का, बहुत डर लगता है कि लेकिन मुझे सबसे बड़ा डर ये लगता है कि if you are not able to achieve your full potential in your life, there is unlived life left in you when you are at the fag end of your life. That's going to be shame. Right. That makes me a little worried. That's why I become so passionate about doing different things, putting my heart and soul into different things, because I don't want to let any unlived life left in me when I'm whatever, 60, 70, 80, whatever you call that age, so that's my biggest fear.
Oh, that's a very nice way of saying that, Sanjay. And what is your biggest competency? What is the greatest of the strength that you think that you possess, which is a little unique from the others?
I'm eternally motivated.
You are a great guy in terms of शेरो शायरी. उस वक्त आपको हर कोई बीट कर ही नहीं सकता है.
लेकिन नहीं ऐसा नहीं है. And thank you very much. Ankita has said a lot of great things. I thank you very much. Ankita.
पकड़ता हूँ बाद में.
मेरा जो कॉम्पिटेंसी है कि मैं मोटिवेटेड आदमी हूँ फंडामेंटली. तो मुझे जब बहुत दुख तकलीफ परेशानी होती है उसमें भी मैं कहीं ना कहीं से कुछ ना कुछ एक मोटिवेशन निकाल ही लेता हूँ.
तो आपको एक्सटर्नल मोटिवेशंस की जरूरत नहीं है जहां पे लोग बहुत सारे डिपेंडेंट होते कि नहीं मुझे मोटिवेट करो, या फिर मतलब आप खुद से ही इतने मोटिवेटेड हो कि यू डोंट नीड दैट एक्सटर्नल मोटिवेशंस?
नहीं, एक्सटर्नल मोटिवेशन मिल जाए कोई उसमें बुराई नहीं है. मतलब वो तो अच्छा है ही, लेकिन हाँ, यू कांट ऑलवेज बी ओवरली डिपेंडेंट ऑन दैट. इट्स योर लाइफ, इवेंचुअली the quality of life will be determined by quality of thought process. What is your software? So you have to take care of your software, your thinking pattern, how you look at life, what's your world view. तो वो मैंने उसको इटर्नली मोटिवेटेड मोड पे रखा हुआ है कि कुछ भी हो तो वो मेरा मोड जो है वो रहता है इटर्नली मोटिवेटेड. कुछ गलत हो गया नहीं, इटर्नली मोटिवेटेड. क्योंकि what is the alternative? अगर आप किसी चीज के ऊपर दुखी हो जाएंगे या एक्सटर्नली आप डिपेंडेंट हो जाएंगे, God has given you fantastic human life. There are so many things to feel happy about, so many things to cherish, so many things to be grateful of, and sometimes one or two things that didn't go or doesn't go in your life well, you start just pulling yourself down, and so many other good things you just stop seeing. So I don't want to get into that mode. That's why I always put myself on eternally motivated mode.
Brilliant. Great. With this, we have come to the very last segment. It's just 1 more minute left. Before we end this conversation, my sincere request to you, Sanjay, if you can quickly say a few good words about GLIBTALK as an initiative and about Samrat also. ऐसे नहीं जो दिल से आएगा वही बताना, वो मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि आपको बोलना है अच्छे के लिए, but whatever is your thought and this little initiative, if you can say some good words or encouraging words, I think that will get me going.
No, I think जो दिल से आ रहा है वही बोल रहा हूँ मैं, सम्राट. You're a fantastic person. First time when I spoke to you and you just explained it to me, in 30 seconds, and I said yes, I could see that passion, that sincerity, that's कुछ थोड़ा सा अलग किया जाए, and वो चीज बहुत जरूरी होता है, वो जज्बा बहुत जरूरी होता है. So मैं उसको, आपके जज्बे को सलाम करता हूँ. Glib Talk की बात, I think it's a good forum. You need more of these communities where people come together and just simply talk, discuss, share their views. World is going to be a far better place if we can be better listener or better communicators. So you're doing a great service to humanity in that sense, in your own small little effort. I'm sure your show should go to bigger heights, and should have more following. But as a concept, this is a very noble concept. It is adding goodness to the world.
Thank you so much. संजय, आपने मेरे दशहरा इतना बढ़िया बना दिया ना, मैं क्या बताऊं कि I'm just flying right now. I've got wings. I've got those wings beneath my wings. But thank you so very much for those kind words. I love that passion of yours. I love this being so candid. I have so many guests coming up, right? And so many has already come. Everybody is so unique that I get to learn from all of them so different things. So in that way, मेरा जो खुद का ज्ञान का भंडार है as a human, I think I am getting elevated there. So thank you so much once again. तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ कि आप हमेशा ऐसे ही रहिए. Would love to listen to your own creations very soon. We are anyways connected on LinkedIn, and we are anyways connected over a conversation on WhatsApp. So please stay like this. Give my best wishes to your family and your kids, and take my best wishes too. Take care. We will be staying in touch. And audience, thank you so very much for coming and joining us on this Dashera evening. I really appreciate the time that you have given. And take care.
Amrad, if I could just thank all the audience. It's not easy to spare 1 hour on a festive day, and that too on Sunday evening. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you being there and listening to me. Thank you very much.
I can see some smiling faces. Thank you so very much, guys. Keep smiling like this, keep shining like a diamond. And Glib Talk every Sunday 5 to 6. Take care. Have a wonderful evening ahead, and happy festivities. Namaskar. Thank you so much.